Alright. Today is October 11th. It is National Coming Out Day. If you didn't know, or if you haven't watched any of my videos before, I am gay. I've, known that, I guess, for about 3 years now. Yeah, like 3 years, I'd say. So that's pretty exciting. It's exciting to be gay. I wrote nothing for this video, so to be honest, it's gonna be a mess, but I felt like this is a video that I just kind of wanted to talk to guys in and not have notes that I'm looking at, and this is genuinely just my experience. Today, for National Coming Out Day, I would talk about my experiences coming out. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to tell you every single one because, I pretty much have to come out on a daily or weekly or monthly basis because you meet someone new and they don't know. So my first time coming out, I guess, really, I don't know. Back then I didn't see it as coming out, but we'll just talk about it. So the first time I ever told somebody that I even thought that I might be gay was the summer before grade 11. And this was to one of my friends, and I didn't know her super well at the time, but I felt really comfortable with her, and she had recently come out to me, so I felt like obviously it was a safe place and that kind of stuff. And I had been thinking about it for literally not even that long. Some people consider their sexuality for months or years before even saying it to themselves, let alone other people. I was like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks, let's ask someone else. I'm just the kind of person that I kind of almost needed validation in it, so I wanted to tell her what I thought to see if she was oh yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's that was my thought process back then. I remember this conversation so detailed. I remember it all going down, and it was over text, and we were just talking about stuff and whatever, and I was like, yeah, I just really don't like dicks or guys, I don't like talking to them. And she's like, oh, do you think you might be gay? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. And so that was the first time that I really ever told anyone, and it was kind of reassuring to me because I was okay, yeah, this is actually a thing, this might be a thing for me, I guess. And so the next time was quite soon after that, actually, maybe a few weeks again. And the circumstances around this was that I had switched to a new school for grade 11, and I felt you know what, I'm at a new school, nobody knows me, so I may as well just do it right away so that no one has a chance to form opinions about me without knowing that, or if there's someone who doesn't want to be around me because of it, I don't get close to them and then have to deal with that later. It's just all on the table when you're meeting new people and all that kind of stuff. So honestly, this could have gone so much worse than it did, because really I didn't have anything fully figured out at that point. I was I think I'm gay, I don't really know for sure, but I was just we'll just go for it and kind of see what happens. And obviously it turned out fine, it turned out really well, but could have been a lot worse. I was sitting in basically a living room with a bunch of my new friends. I'd known them for 2 weeks maybe. We were talking about life, and we were just kind of getting to know each other because none of us knew each other. And someone was like, oh, so does anyone here have a boyfriend? And people went around and answered, and I was like, oh, I actually don't like guys, I like girls. Oh. And I was like, and that was it was kind of terrifying, I guess, because I'd never really said it to anyone before, let alone people I didn't really know. And so that was intense, but it was helpful for me to know that people accept that, even though they didn't even know me, they weren't my friends yet, they had no reason, but it was fine. And so that was the first time I really said it out loud to people. Yeah, and so then kind of like in the following like months and like weeks and months, I started coming out to more people and telling some of my like older friends, and obviously like everything was fine. I have super accepting friends. It was all like, I have such like, I feel so lucky to have the coming out experiences I do, because they all went very, very well. Like, and so I guess like the next major time I came out was to my mom. It was like spring of grade 12, let's say. So that was quite a while after, and I'd wanted to for a long time, and I knew that she would be fine with it, and I knew that my family would be fine with it, but it was just, I wasn't ready yet, I guess. Like, at that point, I was like 100% sure like that I was gay. Like, back when I told my friends originally, I was like, maybe not, maybe, probably, I don't know. And then like throughout the next year, I was like, yeah, definitely. I told my mom, and that was a really stressful experience for me. Not because I thought it was gonna be an issue, it's just hard, no matter what. It's never easy. Even now, I'm 100% comfortable with myself, and still telling new people, I say it and then I get all like hot and sweaty because I'm like, oh my god, like what if something happens? I get used to it, but for me it hasn't necessarily gotten easier. But anyway, so telling my mom, she was visiting me at school because I went to boarding school, and she was visiting me for a weekend, and we'd had breakfast, and then we were sitting in like some outdoor like park kind of thing, and she was getting ready to leave. She was going home, and I was like, I have to tell you something before you go. And she was like, okay. And then I, like no joke, sat there in silence for 15 minutes because I could not say it. I was just like, and then my mom was like, are you gonna say something? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I just don't really see myself having a boyfriend ever. And then I was like, I just don't like boys. And I was like, it was fine. I could have, honestly, like looking back, I could have done that better because that's a bit like vague and like ambiguous. Like, what do you mean? But it was fine. We talked about it, and she asked me questions, and it was all good. And then she went home, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. And then it was kind of nice in that sense that like, obviously I felt like a lot better having done it, but I was also like, it's kind of nice that like I was living there and then she went home, because I didn't have to like continue to see her all the time, because for me, like, I think that would have made it more stressful, because like she just would have been like seeing me all the time, and like there might have been more questions and stuff, which is fine, but like it can just be hard, I guess. And that was grade 12. And then I didn't really do a lot of like major, coming out, I guess, until pretty recently, actually. Like my first year of university, like obviously my new university friends I had to tell, but like nothing like that. That's the same. Like it's just like, oh hey, by the way, or like, oh yeah, I don't have a boyfriend because I have a girlfriend, or whatever, stuff like that. So the most recent big one, I guess, was telling my dad. And again, I waited quite a while to tell him, but not because I thought it was going to be an issue. It was just like a conversation that I wasn't ready to have yet. I kind of get nervous with like face-to-face confrontation at all in general, and so this was like a hard conversation for me to have, because I just couldn't face it. We all know how telling my mom went. I sat there for 15 minutes before I could even say anything, and it was kind of, I felt like it would be possibly even worse telling my dad. I was too nervous, I could not do it. But in July of this year, 2017, I told him, I actually sent him a long text because I just could not bring myself to do the confrontation, but it went really well. Like, I knew my dad would be fine with it. My dad is like on the board of directors for Pride in our city, and like he's always been one of those people that like is very like openly accepting of people, I guess, in that way. and I knew that, so, and he was like, yeah, I mean, you weren't very subtle, so like I kind of knew, and I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah. And then, I don't know, I guess like that's kind of it. Like, from there I then like told Instagram, because before that I hadn't really been open about it on social media because I wanted my parents to know before that was kind of like a thing. So then that happened also in July when I posted my video on this channel about being gay, lesbian, or queer. And that is honestly my journey so far. Like, those are the big four, I guess. And like, obviously there's little ones all the time. You meet someone new, or you see someone you haven't talked to in a long time, or that kind of stuff. Or you're with your girlfriend and they're like, oh, friends, and I'm like, no. And then they're like, oh, that's just the life, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because I feel it's important to talk about coming out, and I really encourage it. As much as earlier I said, like, it never gets easier, like, it feels so good once you've done it, just being able to be yourself fully, even if the way you act or behave doesn't really change, just that those people know that about you now, and that is fully out there. It's honestly one of the best feelings. That being said, though, if you cannot come out for whatever reason, that's okay too. It being a very difficult experience, and I was so lucky to have the reactions I did, and I know that that is not the case for everybody. So here's me telling you that if you cannot come out on this National Coming Out Day, or any day, or ever, I'm here for you. We're here for you, and you are still valid and part of the community, and you're accepted here. So here is to National Coming Out Day. If you cannot come out today, know that you are loved. If you came out today, know that you are loved. If you have been out forever, know that you are loved. Everybody here is loved and so important and so valid and special and beautiful and amazing. And I hope that one day we can all look back on these times in our lives and say, wow, like, the things, those coming out seemed so scary and terrifying and just like it would never be possible, and now maybe you're fully out and you can reflect on these things and just be so happy and so proud of yourself for how far you have come. Literally, on Coming Out Day last year, I filmed a video about coming out, but I couldn't post it because I was not out yet, and the video basically was just like, I want to be out, but I don't know how, and I don't feel comfortable yet. And for me, looking back on that, this year is really special because I can see how far I've come. And for those of us who can't see that, because maybe you don't film your life like I do, it's important to reflect on and be proud of yourself for everything that you do, even if it's just little tiny little baby things every day. If you can come out and you feel ready, definitely, absolutely, 100% do it, because it's the most amazing feeling in the world. Okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this. I put on my little Make America Gay Again shirt, even though I don't live in America, but hey, make everywhere gay. It's 2017. I hope you sleep well. I will sleep eventually, and I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Bye.